Hello everybody, it's FarmSim Guy here, hope you're all doing well. We are looking at a brilliant tool today that I use all the time for looking after my mods, and that is called PV Tools. It's made by the guys over at PV Mods and Dajnet and those guys, and well worth checking out. I will put a link to it in the description for the video, and I'll put it in the top corner as well now. Basically, I'm going to run through what it does, how it works, and how it can basically make your management of your mods a lot more efficient. So without further ado, let's jump into it. This is the initial screen you see on load. I obviously have a few maps and game saves set up here already, but basically what it does, it separates every single one of your game saves into a different folder for your mods. So basically you're not running your game from one massive potential set of mods, one folder on your game. I used to do that in terms of running a whole game from one set of mods, and then I got over 2,000 mods. I had 30 different maps in the folder. I had mods that potentially weren't the best mods and caused clashes and glitches, and it was a nightmare trying to find stuff. Just really challenging. So I looked at a solution for it. This is the one I found, and this is the one I use. There are other ones out there that you can look at if you want to, but for me, PV Tools worked best for my needs. So how does it actually work? Well, let me go into one of my other game saves at the moment. You have your default folder up here. Now this is the default game folder where you would save your mods normally. Okay, so you can always revert back to that if you want to. But on top of that, you have then the option to create folders or create buttons that you can then drop mods into. So for example, my map at Italia save is here. So if I select map at Italia and now launch the game, we'll see what happens. So here we are in the main screen. If I clicked on Korea now, you'll see that I have other games, Flint Hills there, Purbeck Valley, I have a question mark against. Now I wouldn't be able to load those, but I do have the Italian map here with mods installed. So if I click on that, for example, it shows me the mods I've got installed for that map. So we can only access that map. There are my other save games not showing up. So what we'll do, we'll quit out again and I'll show you how it works. So here we are back in the interface. Let's select a new folder. We can change the folder up here. So it just uses your file paths, which opens this browser menu. Now, what I have on my computer is a very fast SSD drive just for running my mods. So if I open this, you can see that the list of buttons that were there before is the same as what I've got here. Base mods, home world, Italian map. Mods is my main mod folder. There are some other ones in there that aren't connected up yet. So what we'll do here is right click. We can create a new folder here, and we will call this folder mod test map. So we'll hit OK there, and you'll see there it's put E, which is my flash drive, mod test map as the selected folder. So we'll do in here mod test map as the name on the button. We can change the color of that to anything we like. So we'll change it to green. It gives you a preview down here. I can't read the text now, so let's change the text to white, and there we go. There's our preview of what our button will look like. And we'll click here when finished. And there you go, it appears down here. Now I haven't put any mods in that folder yet. That folder is completely empty. But what we'll do is we'll launch the game and I'll show you what happens. Okay, we're back on the home screen here. Now if I click on Korea here, you'll notice that my Italia saves have gone, as have all the others. So what I've done is told the game to reroute itself to a folder that doesn't have a single mod in it. So what we need to do now is we need to create a new game save. So let's pick any old game save here. I'll just double click on it. We'll just go for a basic farm manager game. Hit continue, and you'll see here we only have 3 maps. What we want to do here is come back out. We want to go to mods, and we want to get ourselves a different map. That's if you want a different map. You could play with the base game maps if you want to. So there we go. Rusty Acres is just out. We'll grab Rusty Acres. It's a map I've never played, so we'll let that download. We'll have to reload the game, of course. But after that, we'll jump back in. So here we are back in PV Mods. Nothing will have changed in here, but if I pull up my mod folders here, you'll see now that we have in here mod test map. I'll open that up and you'll see we just downloaded Rusty Acres. And that now is the only mod that's in that folder because PV Tools is telling the game that that is my mod folder. Now we're going to leave it on mod test map here, and we are going to load in the game again, and I'll show you what happens next. So here we are back in the game. Again, I haven't created a game save yet, so it's not showing me any game saves that I can load. But let's go to here, let's start Farm Manager. Now you'll see you've got the 3 base game maps, and you have a 4th one, Rusty Acres. So if you hit continue now, we create a game. The only mods I've got installed, remember, are the map and any of the DLCs that I've got installed. But there we go, we have a game. So we'll start that up, and obviously, because it's only got the map in there, we're going to have base game vehicles. It's going to be a very clean base to work from for our new game. So there we go, hit the start button, and here we are. We are in Rusty Acres in a fresh new game save. Now, if you remember my 25 mods I use every single game video, I'm going to show you a brilliant trick that PV Tools allows you to do to add them into game with the click of one mouse button, and that is it. So we'll jump out of here again and I'll show you how that works. Here we are back on the PV Tools menu. Now this mod test map is the one we're working on at the moment. Now if I click on that, it's already selected, as you can see by the green button down the side. Now if I click on options here, it brings up this little menu. Now in here, there is a folder called Favorite Mods folder. Now in that folder, I have got my 25 base game mods that I always use. My auto drive, my courseplay, my easy dev controls, all the things I talked about in my other video. So you have a folder within options you can set as your favorite mods folder, okay? Now I would say, don't put any maps in there. Probably avoid too many vehicles and things like that. That's really for your starter mods for each game. But what's brilliant about that now is that I can hit this button here, and as long as you're on the map you've selected, copy favorites to current active folder. So one click of the button, it says it's complete. Now if I go back into our mods folder, mod test map is the one we're using at the moment. Remember when I showed it you last time, there was just one mod in there, and that was the map. If I open it now, it has my 25 mods in there and the map. So there we go. We have got a nice chunk of mods in there that we've selected. So let's boot the game up once more and show you how that looks now. So once again, we're back on the homepage. Let's open Korea. Let's scroll along. I believe it was save game 10. There it is. You can tell it's working because it loads in the image, which means it's finding it in the map folder. So we will double click, we'll launch here. I'll hit continue, but there you go. From just seeing the map before and the DLCs, we now have all of the other mods that we want to use in the game. Now they are all switched off at the moment. So the easiest thing I do is deselect and select all, and then you've got everything switched on. But again, a lot cleaner than having to scroll through 2,000 mods to get there. So we'll just hit the start button now, and we'll jump in the game. So there we go, back on Rusty Acres, courseplay, animal extension. We can get our easy dev mods, so we know everything is in the game. Instant wash, just to prove a point to those guys that say I never wash a tractor. There you go. So all those mods that we added to the folder, working a treat. That's great, FSG you say, but how do I switch to my other folders with my other maps in? Well, it's as simple as logging out of the game. You have to be out of the game to be able to switch the folders, but literally log out of the game, select a different folder, and log back in. And let me show you that now. So here we are back on the desktop. Let me show you just selecting another folder. Let's choose Mapper Italia here because I know that's set up and is running. But what I would say, this really comes into its own when it comes to multiplayer games. So you know when you've got a multiplayer save going that can run slightly different versions of the mods or older versions of the mods that you may have in your main folder. So you find if there's an update to a mod that comes out in the main mod hub, you hit the update button and then instantly you scrabble about and you have to go and find the older version of the mod because you realise that on your multiplayer server that somebody else manages, you need the older version of the mod for that. So helps you run different versions of mods as well, which is very helpful. The other thing that you do have to consider is if you use courseplay on every single game save, you're going to have 6, 7, 8, 9 versions of courseplay running in different folders. But that, for me, is a small issue that's easily manageable. So, yes, we've selected, there was the map we were working on. We're going to go back to Mapper Italia now. We're going to select that, and we will reboot the game again. So here we are back in game. Hit the career mode. There we are. There is my Italian series. As you can see, some stuff turned off, some stuff turned on, just as I had it set up. But we hit the load button and we jump into the game. Simple as that. And there we go, loaded into this gorgeous map. And that's it really, nothing else to say on that. It literally is a case of switching the button in PV Tools and moving on to your next game save. Okay, FSG, great stuff. Now, I have over 2,000 mods and I have, I've gathered those over the last 2 years. That is a horrible big mess to unpick. So what happens if you want to still be able to play some of your games using the default folder, and then every now and again when you start a new game from now on create a new folder? Well, that's very easy as well. Exactly the same process, but you just reroute it back to your default folder. So I'll quickly show you that as well. So back in the PV Tools interface, if you want to go back to the base game folder, you can click on default folder. That will take you to the route that the game installs mods on when you install Farming Simulator 19. Now, I haven't done that. I've copied mine onto a separate drive, primarily as a backup really, but I have a main mods folder. Now, if I click on main mods here and relaunch Farming Simulator 19, that will have every mod that I've got on my computer. So let me do that now. Right, here we are once again back in game. Let's click on career, and as you'll see here, I have all of my original game saves in here. The only ones I don't have is Rusty Acres, where we just started, and my 2 Italia game saves, because they're saved as separate games in separate folders. But basically I've defaulted here back to my original game save folder with all of my mods in. Now, if I load up something like Lone Oak here, you'll see the problem that I used to have. This is my mod folder, and it just keeps going and going and going. And you'll know every time you install a new mod, even though it's in alphabetical order, not always the mod names are in the right format for that. So it can take a long time. The amount of times I've scrolled through here 2 or 3 times looking for a mod and thinking I mustn't have installed it, or maybe it's not working, to find it on the 4th attempt. So I'm sure you all relate to that. So there are definite benefits to running something like PV Tools alongside the game. It does make things a lot easier for management of mods. Now, there's a few other tools that it has available to you as well, which are very, very helpful. Within the main menu, if you're on main mods here, for example, or any of these buttons, you can click open current folder and it brings up that folder for you, which is very, very nice. You can open the log file from in here as well, so you can see how your mods are performing and help you find potentially any issues here. So there you go, there's a couple of little glitches there in a couple of mods, nothing serious, but it means you don't have to load up the game and watch the console as it's loading in. It's a little bit easier to read through it, so that's very good. You can back up your folders as well. You can download server mods from the PV mods page if you want to run their Pleasant Valley map, but some nice tools in there. Within settings as well, you've got the option to have a play around and tweak some of the game settings, which is very handy to have as well. And of course, you can then turn on developer controls, enabled or disabled. So again, just handy tools to have available to you. So there you go. Just a brilliant set of tools to help you manage your mods a little bit better than dumping them all into one folder. Now, I'm not telling you should use this. This is entirely up to you. But if you've ever had problems with mods, if you've ever not been able to find a dodgy mod because you've got so many mods in your folders, or it's taken you an age to find that mod, this might be something that helps you. Also, Giants have always recommended that you don't have more than one mod map installed in your folder at any one time as well, because that can cause issues and clashes. So again, this avoids that problem by just running one map in one folder. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to use this. It's a solution that works for me, and I know other people use it and find it very, very helpful. So if you're happy with running everything from one folder, great. You carry on doing that. That's not a problem at all. But this is, if people are looking for a solution, this is a pretty good solution. So go check it out. That's PV Tools by the guys at PV Mods. They've done an excellent job. So there you go, from me, the FarmSim guy. Hope that was a helpful exercise, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye for now.